hate to hear you cry. Every time he calls you back, you keep running down his cul-de-sac. You don't need another heartbreak lover.
Always good. And it's always for me, it's a
You don't need
wonderful
another
time to be able just to, take the time and just to, reflect on my own thoughts, regarding the course and how it continues to, impact my life and how it continues to, evolve as I continue to, move in this world that we actually are in. And I'm also just feeling just very grateful of just seeing all these beautiful faces and names. And it is just, it's just a joy. It really is an incredible light to be able to see and to, get the day started, at least here in the West Coast. And I'm sure in other places, maybe in the evening or an afternoon, but yet to just be able to have that opportunity is definitely something that I continue to cherish. And so, today, one of the things I always do that it's very, consistent with me is it's important for me to turn it over to Holy Spirit to always, ask guidance on what is it that Spirit feels that they would like for me to share. And usually it always has to do something that is going on in my life, regarding that aspect of it. And, several different things kept coming up to mind, but pretty much around the same theme, regarding whether it has to be in gratitude, whether it has to be, feeling grateful, whatever it is, it was all around that same theme of what Spirit kept, coming up and very clear, for me regarding an aspect of it. And so the thing that came very clear, for me, in those different thoughts was, regarding appreciation. And in me thinking about, okay, appreciation. Okay, what is it about appreciation that Spirit would like for me to share and reflect upon as you know, definitely, plays a part in my life, regarding that, aspect of it. And then figuring it out, okay, yes, all right. I think I have a sense of what Spirit wanted me to, talk about. But then I was trying to figure out, 'cause one of the things we have to, part of our thing is we send, Reverend Tony a title regarding that aspect of it. And I'm like, okay, what type of title do you give regarding, appreciation? And so different things came up regarding that aspect of it. And then it became very clear. Just asking the question, what is it? What is appreciation? We hear that word, a lot of times. We probably say it a lot of times. I know for me, I say it, several times, especially, in situations where, I, feel like someone did something that I value and that I just take the moment, just want to say, you know what, I really, appreciate that. And but then I was thinking about, okay, what does that really mean, when we say that, that I really, appreciate you doing whatever it is, regarding that aspect of it. And then also the thing that made me, realize, and as I, reflect upon this, it's just another opportunity for us to extend love to individuals by being able to do that. Because when we take a moment and actually really, think about it, I think that's all we want in this world that we are in. We just want to feel that sense of love from others. And by us being able to acknowledge that by just appreciating or admiring, whatever they're doing, we're giving that to them. We're giving them that one moment of feeling joy, that one moment of feeling like, wow, this person loves me. And they're doing that by appreciating what I just did or said or whatever it is. And how remarkable that is to know that that's what we're doing when we're using this word. And for me, it just reminded me how I can look at this and figure out how can I take this even into a more deeper level, especially in those moments or those times when things appear to not be going so well, in our lives, or when things may be challenging, or when things happen to us unexpectedly, and where we want to get into our ego mind and where we don't want to appreciate things that is, going on. But yet, in my mind, and as a course student, it's just another opportunity for me to slow down, take a moment, and recognize where I'm at and be able to shift that and just really allow myself just to see the appreciation in whatever is happening. And I know for me, that can be a challenge at times. But yet, if I just keep that in mind and just remember that I have a spiritual practice that helps me to shift and change and to see every situation in a way that brings love, in a way that shines, the way just to have that loving energy in everything that happens. And so I took the moment to, look at it up in the dictionary, just curious to see what the dictionary had to say regarding the word appreciation. And this is what it says: a feeling or expression of admiration, approval, or gratitude, recognition, and enjoyment of the good qualities of someone or something. For me, that's uplifting. And when we take the moment to admire, to recognize individuals, yes, they feel it. But guess what? I think we do too, because we took that moment and acknowledged them. And the thing that was, coming up for me, regarding that, because there's many, many things that I appreciate, in this world. But one of the things that I appreciate, as many of you know, I'm a huge sports fanatic. I love my sports. I love, watching it. It's just part of who I am, and I appreciate it. Well, just recently, the final Grand Slam for the tennis, the U.S. Open, happened, and so one of my, favorite tennis players finally won their Grand Slam title, Coco Gauff, a 19-year-old Black, African American young woman. And the thing is, I was very excited, for them. But the thing that I appreciated about the U.S. Open, a couple of things. One, finally, after I think 50 some years, they assured that both genders, both men and women, get the same equal amount of prize money. And that's huge. That is so huge. Because to me, that is letting us know that we all are one, that we're not separate, that regardless of what your gender identity is, we should all be treated equally. And I so appreciated that. And the other thing that I appreciated, that I admired, when Coco Gauff gave her interview after she won the match, she acknowledged those who came before her, like the Williams sisters. And when we are able to take time out and understand and recognize those who created the path for us, that's remarkable. And the thing that I appreciated about the fact that she did that, she was so humble about it. It was not being in our ego. When we're being true to ourselves, it just comes out naturally. And that's one thing I appreciated about it. The Course tells us this: understanding is appreciation. Because what you understand, you can identify with, and making it a part of you, you have accepted it with love. Understand, you can identify with, and by making it part of you, you have accepted it with love. Even the Course, it's just letting us know, by accepting it, by understanding what appreciation is for us, we are accepting the love. We are coming from a positive space. And for me, I had to get into that space, at the job where I work at. Because I mentioned in my last talk that there was a lot of shift and a lot of change where these four incredible women that was in my life either retired or went to different positions. And so I've been, working with a new leadership, and it has been a challenge for me. I have not been able to allow myself to take the moment and to appreciate the role that they're taking now. Specifically, one of the individuals who's also the deputy director of public health, and yet they took the time to be our interim director for the branch that I'm in to help support us. I don't have to agree with everything that they're doing or the way they do things. What I can do and what I realized is to appreciate the fact that they took the time out of everything they already have to do as a deputy director to help our branch to make sure that it continues to move forward, continue to do the work that we're supposed to be able to do. And that's the thing we have to remember, that we don't have to always agree. It's not about that. It's just finding that little thing that we appreciate about what they are bringing, their own experience, their own perspective. And in my mind, when we're able to do that, guess what? That helps us involve, because it helps us to be able to see things in a different way that we may not have ever seen it before. But yet we have to have the open mind and create that space in our mind to be able to do that, to be able to recognize and understand that we can appreciate even those who we may not agree with. And the thing is, when you're able to do that and turn it over and let it go, you'd be surprised what happens. And for me, one of the things that happened and that shifted in that moment that made me realize, because I have been with this department for 31 years, I have been fortunate to gain so much experience and has been blessed with so many people who helped me to involve who I am in the work that I am doing, to the point that I was guided to take an exam so that when this position becomes open and permanent out into the public, that I can apply for it, for me to be the director of the branch that I'm in. And I passed the exam, which was great, and doesn't mean that I'm going to get it, but yet it does mean that it gives me the opportunity to bring my potential perspective into the work regarding equity and inclusion within the health department. And I had to realize all that came because I allowed myself to appreciate and understand what everyone has done for me at that department over the years. The Course tells us that is how God Himself created you, in understanding, in appreciation, and in love. The ego is totally unable to understand this because it does not understand what it makes. It does not appreciate it, and it does not love it. It incorporates to take away. And the thing is, when we are able to see and to understand and to appreciate, our path has already been set for us in ways that we never even thought possible. And for me, who knows what's going to happen in the next year or two, but I do know, and I am grateful for, and I am so appreciative, is that when this opportunity comes up, when they put the announcement out, I'm going to apply for that director position. And the reason why, because Spirit reminded me that all those 31 years, all those experiences I got getting my doctorate in clinical psychology, all the experience I've gotten from studying a course for so many years, that I will be able to help and shift the way that we have done things within our department, coming from a more loving and healing way, and seeing everyone for who they are and appreciating that. And that's a wonderful gift to recognize. Hopefully it happens, but if it doesn't, I know I still will be able to bring that energy to light. And that's because I understand what appreciation really is. And that is just by acknowledging who we are, acknowledging others. And by doing that, we're extending love to them. The Course also tells us this: the whole glory and perfect joy that it is the kingdom lies in you to give. And for me, the other thing that this has taught me, especially over the past month, is that even though when things appears to be happening to us for a reason that we never even thought possible, that we can still take that moment to appreciate. And I experienced that just recently, where an event happened a month ago where Reverend Peter and another friend of ours was having dinner in the neighborhood that I, live here in San Francisco. And while we was having that dinner, talking about our softball stuff, which we usually do, regarding that aspect of it, we smelt some smoke. We thought that where we were at, they may have burnt some food or something regarding that aspect of it. And then the drivers of the place where we work at came in, they recognized me, and they said, Vincent, the place where you park your car is on fire. And so I went outside, whole bunch of smoke, fire trucks, everything that was, happening regarding that aspect of it. And I noticed they were at the building where I parked my car and where I had my storage unit. And so I came back into the, restaurant with Reverend Peter and our mutual friend that we have regarding that aspect of it, not knowing what happened, not knowing what was, going on regarding that aspect of it. I was not able to find anything out until like 1 o'clock in the morning, where they said that you can't go down there yet, but you have to wait until the next morning to actually, see what was going on regarding that aspect of it. And so then next morning, I, went there regarding that aspect of it. And so they took me down to where I parked my car and where I had my storage unit, and all my stuff in my storage was burnt. My car was burnt. So I lost everything, in that, moment. And so many different feelings and emotions was, going on for me regarding that aspect of it. And then the Course reminds us of this: let your mind shine with my mind upon their minds, and by our gratitude to them, make them aware of the light in them. So even though this happened and different emotions was coming up for me regarding this experience that I went through, I realized I was grateful the fact that no one in that building was hurt or harmed. I was grateful that I was not in the building when that happened. And then the other thing that it happened is, and this has a lot to do with when we allow ourselves to show up and be there for others and support others in ways that we never even thought possible, and not seeing the impact that we have on people. Reverend Peter, without me knowing, sent out a message to people who we all knew. And the amount of support that I got was absolutely incredible. And hearing from them, the reason why is because they have appreciated everything that I have done for them, of how I've always shown up for them and how I would continue to show up for them. And they felt it was a no-brainer to show up for me in a time when this has happened. So appreciation in my mind is when we are allowing ourselves to show up to who we are and to allow ourselves to appreciate every moment we have. And that experience and just seeing the amount of love that I got from people, it just blew me away, because we don't know the impact that we make on people when we show up, when we are there for them, and the incredible gift that we get back. And that's, for me, I get it and I understand, because I have a spiritual practice that allows me to be true to myself, allow me to be there, not only for myself, but yet for others. This is the true communion of the Spirit, who sees the altar of God in everyone. And by bringing it to your appreciation, calls upon you to love God and his creation. You can appreciate the sonship only as one. This is part of the law of creation and therefore governs all thought. What is appreciation? It's just another opportunity for us to extend love to each and every one we come in contact with, and even those that we don't come in contact with. Because for me, that's what appreciation is all about. And that is my talk.
Well, you know I'm not the most gentle guy, but you see I hate to hear you cry. Every time he calls you back, you keep running down his cul-de-sac.